You're creating the rule because at some point yours is going to be different than when you started. But the rules are to help you get a starting point of how you're going to create this large mask. So if we look at, if we just look at the cover sheet of this project, this is basically, you're going to create something based on these different rules, and it's going to develop into something completely different than those starting points.
Okay.
So there's a great, if you have a chance, stop by the 253, stop by the classroom, and if you look at the back wall, you can see an example of what the rules look like and how those rules get translated into a model. Not a physical model, but a digital or hand-drawn model. Okay, so I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna do that again quickly. But you draw your rectangle. Let me see if I can get my dimension tool. So you're going to create a 2x4 square rectangle, and you're going to extrude it at 1/2 inch. So for everyone, this should be the starting point. This should be the starting point. 4 to 1/2 inch. Computer don't freeze on me. So from there, you would create a layer, or you would create a group for that individual piece. Okay, there we go. And then the first thing you're going to do is create a rule. So a rule is basically, what would the next block look like next to this block? So you have to do 2 steps. You would make a copy of it, and you would do your first step. My first step for this one is I would go up 1/2 inch, and then I would move it about 1 inch, so halfway through that piece. That is considered a rule. And what you would do then is you would make your next rule. So rule 1 is go up 1/2 inch, move 1 inch, move left 1 inch. So that would be for my model. You're gonna find that you're gonna wanna do something different, and we can explore those. There's no wrong way to create a rule. For someone, it might be, I want to copy it over, and then I want to rotate. I want to rotate it 90 degrees. That is also considered a rule. So basically, you're going to explore different ways to aggregate architecture, but basically piece together different 2x4 blocks. It's like playing with Legos or Jenga, or just building blocks in general. You're gonna have different layouts that will create different pieces once there's multiple things added. So right now it doesn't look like anything, but it helps you to understand, okay, before I go to my next piece, I'm probably gonna have to, copy it. Rotate 3D. So you'll start seeing it kind of, when you start applying the moves over and over and over again, you start creating something different than when you started. But now that I've developed this, I can now see that I have a problem, because according to the project parameters, you have to be able to get at least 6 pieces assembled. If I was to keep going with the rule I started with, I couldn't go past 4. So that's where you start seeing those issues. So I would go back from where I started and try to create a new rule, something that I can work with. So instead I would do so I would rotate, it, but then I would also want to move it over maybe 1 inch, 2 inches, so that when I keep going, you'll start seeing, instead of you'll start seeing I can continue this pattern over and over again, because it doesn't overlap and close me off as the previous design did. So that's what I want for Saturday's class. I want everyone to start looking into Project 3 and to develop the rule, the first 2 starting pieces of your design. When we get to class, we will start exploring what it looks like when you add 6 more pieces, 10 more pieces, but I want everyone to come to class with their rule. What questions come to mind when you're thinking about this? What questions come to mind? Anyone? Do you all feel comfortable proceeding with getting started with Project 3? Coming up with those 3 rules? You should have 3, 1, 2. I only did 2, with a 3rd one.
Can you show how to make the box again?
Yeah, no. So for it to make the box, I use the polyline tool because it's good for those starting out. Some people know how to do it with the rectangle tool, so I can do both. But I use the polyline tool. I ensure that all my O's snap. So deselected, I can't select anything. but selected, I make sure my end, mid, and intersection are checked. So then I start drawing my line. I type in 4 inches, hold shift to make sure it stays straight, and then I go and I continue with my 2 inches, hold shift, and then I close it off when it hits that point. Once I've made that curve, I would use planar curve and extrude it 1/2 inch. So not a full inch, but 1/2 inch, like an actual building block.